Hello everybody and welcome to NBL Overtime. A huge weekend ahead of us, the last regular season weekend of 2018-19. 8 teams about to become 4, but we don't know who will be the minor premier. We don't know who will be, of course, in that 4th spot. And what a weekend it promises to be. The NBL Gala Awards night on Sunday night as well. And a very special treat for you basketball fans. Get involved. Instagram, Twitter or Facebook right now. Hashtag NBL Overtime, and you can ask a question of Liam Santamaria or this man, Corey Homicide Williams, who is wearing a new jersey. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Just tell me.
All-Star game in the NBA. This is the jersey, the Greek Freak. You look, I'm not going to pretend like I know how to pronounce his name, so I'll just stop him. Oh, you know it?
Antetokounmpo.
Say that 3 times in a row.
Antetokounmpo, Antetokounmpo, Antetokounmpo.
That is impressive. Greek Freak, Greek Freak, Greek Freak. Shout out Basketball Jersey World. Did you go up there yet?
I went there, Corey.
Did you tell him I sent you?
The bloke at Basketball Jersey World said he had no idea who you were.
Oh, wow.
And you know, I went
Really?
there. I went there and I said, Corey Williams sent me one of Liam Santamaria Victoria Titans jersey.
Nah.
And they didn't have any.
Sold out.
Sold out.
Completely sold out.
He goes, you can't come here after Christmas, mate. They're hot selling. Liam, welcome to you, buddy.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. So much to go through. Obviously, like you say, we've still got those 2 races underway and some big games to come up.
Just before we get to the highlights, the best part about any type of sport is what happens off court and the political drama and all the rest of it. But the very fact is that while we've had 3 teams locked in to the playoffs for a number of weeks now in Perth, Sydney and Melbourne, the very fact is we don't know where they're going to finish, and the last regular season game is essentially going to be for top spot. And then Adelaide and Brisbane, they keep changing, and then we've seen Illawarra and New Zealand was still recently alive. So the very fact is, while we have had teams in the playoffs, the amount of chopping and changing in all positions has made this such a wonderful year.
Well, part of it is because top spot is so valuable, and they all know it. You know, we look back at last year and we see that grand final series go the distance, each team winning at home. 9 of the 10 last grand final series won by the team with home court advantage. So everyone's gunning for that number 1 spot. No one's resting any players, taking any games off. It means a lot.
And you know what? The only team that won on the road last year in the playoffs, Adelaide, who on a Friday night beat Perth to get to a grand final. They're going to have to do it this weekend if they are to qualify. We'll get to that very shortly, but let's look back at round 17 because it was full of highlights, it was full of drama, and, well, this was a big couple of foul shots that Jordan Jet missed.
They were a big couple of foul shots. Then the Bullets just got over the line. We missed that Adelaide win over New Zealand. That was also very important for their chances with Sobey playing really well. And this was a fun game because Illawarra's finals chances were still alive at that point.
Lamar Patterson goes bang, bang into overtime. This game on Friday night was outstanding. The Kings, this is right when Melbourne had made a run, got it back to 4, halfway through the 4th, and the lob to Andrew Bogut slams the door shut on the bogey, which was, of course, 10-game losing streak for the Kings.
The most impressive thing about that game was every time Melbourne United threw something at the Kings answered back. And that's something that they were not able to do against United.
This one was a big one as well.
Uh-oh.
Long.
Uh-oh. Don't give me... Uh-oh. Sidestep shorty. Excuse me. Bucket. What a beautiful play. Speaking of beautiful plays. Yeah. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. That is his house.
Yo, whenever he puts the braids in, he's a different beast.
He's had some good mix-ups.
That was incredible.
The hair.
First of all,
shut it down.
Let's talk about how he saved a man and a dog from a burning building and then hit the game-winning shot, the game-tied shot. Hold on, man.
Incredible.
We gotta talk about that for real. The man before the game.
No,
after the game?
He just picked up fish and chips, which is, I think is great. It's so great.
It's amazing. Saved a man and a dog from a burning building. That is incredible. Listen, he's like, he's all Australian.
Oh, my God.
Is there a better man in Australia than Damian Martin?
I will say no.
Yo, you know what?
He said, I went over to help out. He said, a minute later, I was standing on the roof trying to put the fire out with a garden hose.
This man is going to sell so many homes.
Yes.
In this country.
And books.
Oh, my God. That's incredible.
Speaking
I don't know no man
For people who don't know the exact story, Damian Martin,
crazy.
after the game, which they'd won, going to get fish and chips, house was on fire, jumped out of his car, got a garden hose, grabbed the guy who lived there, grabbed the dog, grabbed the fridge, grabbed everything from in the house, put the whole fire out. Unfortunately, the house was a write-off, but in the end, everyone was saved, which is the main thing. And then he went home, had fish and chips, and this weekend settles up to try and get his Perth Wildcats top of the table.
And the amazing thing is, the next day I was messaging some of his teammates saying, "Is this fire story for real about Damo?" And they were like, "I don't know. I haven't heard anything." He just went home and went to bed. Yeah. He didn't even talk about it.
When he rocked up to training on Monday with an oxygen tank on his back, sort of gave it away.
What a guy.
Huge effort. All right. And what round 17 has done, and so much, of course, and the ramifications now lead into what is going to be a huge weekend. Still, two teams can finish on top. They play each other on Sunday. The Kings, obviously, they play the Cairns Taipans on Saturday night, and then, of course, what happens on Friday and Saturday night, first of the 36ers. But this is what we look at right now. So the Wildcats can finish anywhere from first to third, as can Melbourne United. Kings only second or third. Adelaide can win. The destiny, their own fate is in their hands. They win Friday, they finish fourth. If they lose and Brisbane win, they will go into the playoffs to take on the team that finishes at the top. Illawarra, 6th or 7th. New Zealand, 5, 6 or 7. And Cairns, who had the big win last week against Brisbane, currently sit in 8th, and that's where they will sit. But there are so many different ramifications over this weekend.
Well, it's crazy. Adelaide going to Perth. They win it, they go and they lock themselves in. It's not an easy thing to do. They've lost, you go over to Perth, they're 11-2 at home, the Wildcats. Brisbane at home to New Zealand, who, they've been causing some trouble, but they don't have, what have they got to play for, 5th, 6th or 7th? I still think the Bullets will get there in the end.
The best thing about this league, and you #see incredible a great deal, and sometimes it gets you into some trouble, but I did say that, if the favoured teams are home, or the favoured teams going into the round win, Brisbane will qualify for the playoffs and finish 4th.
Right.
But this is what makes this NBL season so incredible. The very fact is we have no idea what's going to happen from game to game. And if anyone had sat here last week and suggested the Cairns were again going to deal with Brisbane and pretty much force them on the death knell of the playoffs, we would have probably laughed at you. But as it stands, we're not surprised by anything that could happen. So leading into this weekend, it's all on the line. And by far the most important game is Friday night.
Let me ask you gentlemen something. I have a very important statistic in front of me. I don't really write notes. But when I do, I come correct.
Didn't realise you actually had a pen licence, to be honest, but go on.
Here's my question for you. Where did Cairns play that game? Was it in Cairns against Brisbane or in Brisbane?
Cairns.
0-11 on the road in the final 6 rounds combined in the last 3 seasons are Brisbane. I'm going to say that again.
Say it again.
In the last 3 seasons, since coming back in the NBL, that team, the Brisbane Bullets, are 0-11 in the final 6 rounds combined. The Bullets have never won on the road since round 13, since returning in the NBL. Can you believe that? That's crazy to me.
Well,
Andre Lemanis is a very good coach.
Yes.
Can we say that?
Agreed.
Okay.
Very good coach.
He's the national team coach. He was in New Zealand, and he was in Australia now. Okay?
Well,
they have 6.
He wasn't the national team coach of New Zealand.
He wasn't?
No,
Never?
No, it's the Breakers. But he
coached the Breakers.
Breakers, there we go. I say that because pretty much that was the national team. My bad. Now, he has about 6 or 7 former and current national team players on his team current.
Yep.
Lamar Patterson, A.J. Davis, quality imports. They are on the verge of not making finals. I believe Adelaide is going to win. Once Adelaide wins, they're done. Right? How can this man with a team like this not make finals, but coach your national team to a medal? That's not a given. That Australia's going to get 3rd or 4th or 2nd.
No way.
Or 1st.
It's not a given at all.
So if he can't do it with this team,
No. Yeah, but
in this league, how he going to do it with the Boomers?
I think he's proved it with the Boomers. See, and this is so you saying there's no way you don't think he can do it, or you questioning how he can coach so well the national team and struggles?
I'm just saying, how's your team 3 years in a row?
Because if you look at the Boomers under Andre Lemanis, one of the worst calls in the history of Olympic basketball, cost them a bronze medal against Spain in 2016. And I'll grant that the results right now at Brisbane probably aren't what a lot of people expected. A month ago, we all thought they were playing the best in the league, and we're kind of steamrolling not only to the playoffs, but it may be a championship, or at least be one of the main contenders, to which I don't think anyone thinks it right now, and it remains to be seen if they actually make it. But I also think that he has done enough as the national coach. It might be two separate conversations. For whatever reason, Liam, he might struggle. I'm not saying he is struggling, but he might not get the best out of his team domestically as he does internationally, because I think the Boomers, everything he's touched with the Boomers, one bad call from their first ever medal at an international competition.
And, I mean, I agree. Let's not forget how well that Boomers team was playing in Rio. The country fell in love with our Boomers team because of the way they were playing and how well they were representing us. They lost that semi-final game, but that was a seriously good team that beat them. And then, like you say, it came down to the last couple of possessions against Spain, and they got a really terrible go from the refs. That very well could have been a bronze medal. And you've got to take into consideration what a guy does domestically to be the national coach, because that's how the guy gets the job in the first place. That's how Lemanis got the job, because he proved himself with the Breakers. But from there, I think he's done enough with the Boomers to say he has that program doing very well.
He does.
Taking care of business in the qualifiers, in the Asia Cup and things like that. The top guys all like playing for him. Now, Ben Simmons, we'll see. That maybe still up in the air. He's done enough now to keep those separate. Now, you want to criticise what's happened with the Bullets, 2 wooden spoons, maybe missing the final seed. Go ahead. But I don't think that necessarily takes his Boomers job away from him.
I agree, but to your point, it's a good question, because he does do a good job with the Australian team, but for whatever reason, and even if you take out the last 2 wooden spoons, this is the team that on paper, as you point out, should be playing better, or at least be in a better to go and roll the highlights from what happened on the weekend. Because this is a big. They barely got over Illawarra, really, and we'll have a look at that.
Illawarra were desperate. Illawarra can beat teams, and
they got
over the line.
Oh, that's fine, but so should they be desperate.
This was no good. They played so tight. You could reasonably say they choked, because they were so tight in this game that would have stepped them another big step towards the finals. Missing layups, wide open looks. They just couldn't look at the score. They could not get themselves going offensively. And I was literally watching that game thinking, oh my God, look how tight they are. And then Lemanis got into the post-game presser and said, we tightened up, we were really anxious. And because of the magnitude of the result.
Look, I know that we talk about how close this league is and how amazing the results are each and every week, but Cairns have won 5 games for the year, and 3 of them against a team that no longer the destiny's in their own hands unless Adelaide win on the road. It's a remarkable 5 wins for Cairns, 3 against Brisbane, and that could be the difference between Brisbane actually being cemented in the playoffs now and us talking about them as a serious contender outside of a conversation where we're discussing is Andre Lemanis the right guy. It is remarkable.
But if you're gonna hold those Cairns losses against the Bullets and against Lemanis this season, you've got to hold the wins that they got over teams like Melbourne. They were 3-1 over Melbourne. You've got to involve them in the same conversation.
You know what? You know what the wins against Melbourne have done? Help Melbourne, because he was really the first coach, talking about coaching well, he was the first coach to throw a double team at Casper Ware, got the ball out of his hands, and the rest of the team didn't really handle it that well. Since then, teams have been doing that, and the rest of the players have stepped up. Chris Golding in 2019, the calendar year's been really good. He actually led the... Had he have not done it and led into the playoffs, it would have been a masterstroke. Right. I reckon he did it 3 months too early. Had to do it, obviously, but I think it's allowed Melbourne to learn from how they played against Brisbane in those 2 losses right before Christmas.
Should he just focus on Boomers?
Well, then, is it a bad look if you get relieved of your duties or you step down from coaching a domestic team, yet coach the international team?
Well, he did just concentrate on the Boomers in advance of those 2016 Olympics.
He did. He did, so, and on the back of how well they played, that's essentially why he got involved, or why he was not forced upon, but why he was approached to be the coach of the Bullets as they came in.
They've won of their last 6 games as they march towards the finals. Now, as we know, a whole bunch of those games were against Sydney. They lost every single one of them. That's a tough team to beat. We know the Kings are legit, but they weren't able to get it done. And over the course of that, and the other thing is, over the course of that stretch where they've really let themselves down, now they might still make it.
This is the thing.
They might even still make it and play Melbourne United, who they have a 3-1 series lead over on the season. But their backcourt really needs to step up. Jason Kadee and Cam Glidden have been quiet during this stretch, and
I don't believe in that backcourt, yo. Sorry to cut you off. I do not believe in that backcourt. Who's going to step up? You're playing cans to try to get in. I can't allow you to beat me again.
Jedi Pat 501 on Twitter asks, would you start Kendall? Would you start
100%.
Kendall over Kadee?
100%. Maybe that will light the fuse under Kadee. Maybe Kadee don't want that pressure. You're not playing well. Maybe a change-up is good. What happened with Chris Golan? Wasn't playing well. What did they do? Sit down.
9-1 with him off the bench.
There you go.
9-1, minutes are the same, points per game a little bit higher with him off the bench.
You know what I mean? You're going to get your minutes, but guess what? You're not getting this thing going. Kendall can hoop.
Yeah.
Let him play.
Well, you single-handedly got him a contract.
And I don't even want no commission.
Yeah, but
I don't even want no commission.
Over the course of that 6-game stretch, that 6-game stretch where they've lost 5 of their 6, Kadee is their 9th leading scorer. He's shot 5 field goal attempts per game during that stretch.
He don't want to play, man.
He had 2.
And so maybe that could help. Patterson's taken over a lot offensively in that starting lineup.
But is it too late? Like, that fuse to be lit, I understand, but it's only one. This is one game. It could mean nothing, or it could be all.
It could mean everything.
Come Saturday night. So that's going to be interesting.
It might also just be a conversation with them and say, hey, mate, we need you to be more aggressive.
Hey, the Illawarra Hawks...
Which is a conversation that Lemanis has had with Glidden.
Yeah.
Say, I'd prefer you go 1 of 8 than 1 of 4, get some shots up. Kadee's still throwing some dimes. His floor game's been solid, but they need that scoring punch from him, and they haven't been getting it, and they need it against the Breakers.
The thing is, they probably got a little bit lucky last week against Illawarra as well. And Liam Santamaria, you found a couple of interesting moments in the Illawarra game where really, when Illawarra had them almost on the ropes, they let them back into it with an interesting...
Well, Beveridge has spoken all season about their lack of chemistry offensively. This relationship in particular, Brian Conklin and Cedric Jackson, has been rocky all season long. Here you see Brian Conklin get into it a little bit with Ced. They're not agreeing with it. You can see Bevo gets wind of that, subs Conklin out of the game. Says, Conrad, you come in for Conk. Conk doesn't like it. Look at, tells Bevo all about Bevo.
Bevo's like, listen,
back.
Bevo got red in his face, too.
The young rookie greeters is trying to pat both of them on the back and saying, no.
Bevo's first couple of words in this timeout were, we're playing selfish basketball, and then look at this. This is right at Conklin, saying it's the same old ish that's causing us troubles. And then look at the score. 84-82, Illawarra leading, 31 seconds left. Look at Ogle. Jet gets fouled. He's about to shoot 2 free throws to perhaps seal the win. And they're arguing on the floor. Look, Jet is still going at AJ, going, I'm not going to take this anymore kind of stuff.
He looks stunned in this situation.
Wow, he does look like...
He looks stunned.
What?
This is... And you know what happened next? He missed the 2 free throws. Brisbane come and tie it up. They go to overtime and lose. So
Lamar Patterson takes over.
So what are we saying? Is Ogilvy's fault?
I'm just saying that harmony just hasn't been there for the Hawks.
Yeah.
They've tried hard. Beveridge has done a great job trying to get them to mesh, and it just hasn't worked. And it's a roster pre-season when it was put together we didn't think was going to mesh in a playing style sense, but it hasn't, both in that way and in personality.
Always a lot of talk about what's going... When a team misses the playoffs, always a lot of talk. Will the coach be back? Will the imports be back? What's going to happen? They're obviously a regional team that always punch above their weight as well, and that's a part of the charm with the Illawarra Hawks. Who do you expect to be back from an import point of view? Who would you look to have back next year at Illawarra?
You don't bring any of those imports back.
No,
Go get 3 new ones. Are you kidding me? Why are you bringing 3 back? And
Conklin's been good.
Look at where you're at. You didn't make finals.
Not even Conklin?
I'm not bringing Conklin back.
No? So reset?
Reset.
3-point shooter or 2?
For sure. Get a point guard that can shoot.
Well, I know a point guard who can shoot. I just don't think the Perth Wildcats are probably going to let him go because he, as our man Homicide pointed out, about 7 or 8 times in the coverage on Sunday, he was on a donut halfway through the 3rd quarter.
Man.
And then he went bang. In more ways than one. I think it was 27 points in 16 minutes or...
In 20 seconds. This was the most impressive game I've seen a player have for 16 minutes and 20 seconds. The way I saw him turn it on at the end, it was ridiculous. Like, look at his face. He's locked in. He's focused. Whenever he get the braids, he turns to a different guy. And it was really impressive the way he played. I was really impressed.
You were courtside. the crowd just feeds off it. The electrifying way that he plays his basketball, and when he goes off, they got 14,000 in the arena, and they feed off what he is doing. And he's such an integral part, not just from a scoring point of view, that's amazing. You know that was number 4 in SportsCenter's top 10?
That's what I reposted, and then I heard,
What'd you do? Get in trouble?
I didn't get in trouble, but
Someone slid into your DMs?
Someone slid. Apparently, somebody slid in my comment section and then deleted it
and then ran off.
But I don't know because.
Yeah, you didn't know who it was.
I don't know who it was.
Okay.
But,
fair enough.
But it wasn't there, so I don't know. I can't say anything. It wasn't there.
Will they finish on top? Sunday's going to be outstanding in Melbourne.
They're not beating Melbourne. Look.
The motivator's
they are not
back.
going to beat Melbourne in Melbourne. Okay? I'll tell you right there, that's not going to happen.
What if just now Bryce Cotton didn't and wasn't as aggressive when Melbourne beat Perth in Melbourne prior to Christmas? If he comes out with this mindset,
he tried to be. He was 4 of 15.
Oh, he tried.
Second half. First half, he didn't get really many shots up. I reckon he's over 4.
You got to correct me.
You know why he didn't get that many shots up?
Because look, if you lock down Cotton, which is almost impossible to do, but if you limit him and you restrict him, you can beat Perth. That's how you beat them.
That's how you beat them.
Adelaide kept him to 10 points. In Adelaide, they beat him. Melbourne kept him to 11 points, 4 of 15 here. Sydney were in control of that ball game because he was on a donut. He got 10 shot attempts up, but they were all tough. Running him off the three-point line, turning him into a driver, which we know when he's rolling, he can be effective. But when he gets off the chain, when he gets that look in his eye, it's good night.
Guess what?
Tell me.
First of all, Friday they play, right? Mm-hmm. Who's going to be defending them?
Sobe.
And who else? Ramon Moore. 2 good on-ball offenders. You don't think they're going to trap him like they did before?
Congo will get some minutes.
Congo going to get him. What's going to happen next? They're going to wear him down. Jump on a flight. Then who he's going to see? The best two-way point guard in the league. Beware Casper Ware. That's the MVP of the league. Well, they're going to finish first. I'm telling you right now.
That leads us into an ongoing conversation because it feels like for the last 6 weeks we've had this MVP conversation.
I didn't even know that was happening. Well played. Yeah, thanks.
I've suggested it's been Andrew Bogut for a long of the time, but I will say that I am wavering just slightly because Casper Ware and Bryce Cotton's last month have been exceptional and have dragged their teams over the line. And at NBL, hashtag NBL Overtime, NBL 19. We're asking you on Twitter right now who is the MVP come Sunday night at the Gala Awards. And 51% saying Bryce Cotton. About the same for Ware and Bogan. Lamar Patterson 4%. I'm going to say this. On Facebook as well, we asked a question without it being a poll, and a lot of the comments, remarkably, were scoffing at the very fact that we included Andrew Bogut in this conversation.
I don't know why. I mean,
I don't know. I think he's going to win it.
First of all, I think I said it the whole season. The effect that he's had on the league, period, has been second to none. I don't think no one has ever had an impact on the whole NBL Australian League like he has. That's one. He leads in blocks. He leads in rebounds. He is the reason this team, Sydney Kings, are in pole position to have a chance at winning the championship. Because of him in the league, every other team has gotten a legitimate center. The Bogut effect. This team was in dead last year. Now they're going to finish third?
Yeah.
Great reason for him to potentially be MVP of the league. Casper Ware, sensational year. He's had, put the backpack on. I will carry this team when I need to. We don't even have to say anything more, especially the buzzer beater he hit in the fashion and form he hit it in. Then you got Bryce Cotton. He's just playing on a whole nother level. So it is difficult. It's really difficult.
A couple of things to look at firstly. Clearly from the votes in the poll we've got a lot of West Australian voters. Now,
it's all the Red Army, of course.
I'm not suggesting that Bryce Cotton can't win the MVP.
True that.
But he's not that far in front.
Yeah, it's way closer.
It's way closer.
And I think it's one of the tightest MVP races the league has ever seen. I was chatting with the stat man about it today, saying, can you recall one? Now, obviously, the system is a bit different, but can you recall one where 3 guys, you're a few days out from the thing being announced, and it could go any which way, and you'd be perfectly happy.
Good with it.
That would be the person would be deserving if any one of those guys.
Have we ever seen a tied or a joint MVP in the league?
Yes. Yeah, we've had them before.
We have?
I can't remember exactly. I think maybe in the 80s,
but it was
late
before.
80s, early 90s, we've had it before.
That wouldn't shock me. If we walked out Sunday night and there was joint MVP, there would be
a guy who
would be stiff.
If 2 of them got it and one didn't. But what I love about it is it's a close race between three, and those three are the best offensive player in the league, the best defensive player in the league, and the best two-way player in the league. And I think it covers off those bases nicely. For me, Bogut, I tip it towards Bogut. One of the big reasons is I feel like he makes his teammates better at both ends of the floor, and a lot better. Offensively, I mean, he's 11th in assists. He averages over 3 assists per game from the centre spot, plus all his screening. He's so good offensively in that regard. 11 points per game. Guys don't come into the NBL in a 40-minute game and average a double-double. Julian Kazoo, but not really anyone else. Bogut's done that. Plus the blocks, what he does. And guys on the perimeter, Lish, Randall, Newley, those guys are much better perimeter defenders because he's there.
No doubt.
Not only what he does in terms of talking and switching, but because they can get up on people's hips, force them towards the rim. But look, I just want to say one more thing about the MVP vote. Because the coaches and the captains are doing the vote. And let's be real, the awards night is happening after the night of the last game. So they're voting this week, right? In fact, I think most of them probably will have already done it in the last couple of days.
Wow.
I want to talk directly to the...
Yeah, talk to him, Liam.
I'm talking, Corey, directly to the coaches and the captains of Perth, Melbourne and Sydney. And I just want to say, I hope you guys voted in good conscience. And I'm sure you have. But, like, if you're Trevor Gleeson and you can't vote for Bryce Cotton but you want him to win, you need to have voted for Casper Ware or Andrew. Don't go, well, I can't vote for Cotton. DJ Newble's the MVP. Jacob Wiley's the MVP. Those three guys should finish first, second or third.
And I don't think there's any doubt. They will. I believe the good conscience you asked will have been acted on.
I hope so.
If DJ Newble finishes in the top 3 at MVP, we'll know what's up.
We won't know who it came from, though.
80... No, we won't.
We won't. And
1987, Mark Davis, Leroy Loggins, joint MVPs.
There you go.
So I think it wouldn't stun me at all.
I don't think that's the only one.
If we walked out on Sunday night after
How
Gala.
did you find that out so quick?
Nah, just that's what I do.
I'm like, wait a minute.
All-NBL team is, of course, another interesting conversation that we talk about leading into Sunday night. And last year, we've seen 2 really strong teams, but I don't think anyone's going to disagree in saying we're going to see 10 players that are very well and truly deserving of their All-NBL honours this year because it's been very, very, very tight year. The All-NBL first team, I think we all had the exact same last time, and we've all got the... Oh,
Cam, you're a little late to Sean Long.
A little late? A little late? Only one of us had him in our All-NBL team when we first did it 3 months ago, which was me.
How has he not been elevated? Is that the only difference we've got?
The only difference I've got.
Oh,
Nick Kay.
wow!
I spoke about it, but
that's impressive.
It is impressive.
I'm going to hold Kay into it.
Wow.
Well, then, let's talk about Sean Long versus Nick Kay in the All-NBL first team.
Let's do it.
Nick Kay is playing for a team that's playing for a championship and will be a minor champion. I think he plays both ends of the court as well. And I think the very fact is, how Sean Long's in the Defensive Player of the Year, and I'm looking straight down the barrel at you because you nominate these players.
I didn't nominate
but they've got to put him in a zone.
I don't put that one.
But he's had an outstanding year, and I just think that Nick Kay, who has been understated and has flirted with a triple-double on a number of occasions in the last couple of weeks, and he's understated because Bryce Cotton's there. I get that.
This is the thing about Nick Kay. All those games where he flirted with a triple-double, people have this wrong impression about his dime numbers. He averages 3 assists a game.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it is.
12th in the league, I think. That's great. He doesn't average close to a triple-double.
No, but he doesn't average close to a triple-double, but he's also putting up numbers when the whips are cracking in a team that has to desperately win games to finish on top. And I think when they went to Sydney 3 weeks ago, and I'm looking straight down the barrel at someone at Fox Sports right now, because how the hell you gave Bryce Cotton the man of the match when he tore the... He nearly had a triple-double and a huge win. I had Nick Kay in the first team when we did it about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick solid with him because I think he's had an outstanding year. And Sean Long has been as fun to watch as any player in the league. And I'm not suggesting that he hasn't been instrumental in New Zealand playing some good basketball. But Nick Kay is challenging for a championship, and Sean Long's tonight the MVP of the Breakers, which is interesting. They've had their MVP award before the regular season's done, but it is what it is.
Well, I think that's going to obviously be the really close vote for the All-NBL team.
No doubt.
Sean Long.
Can I also point out, I didn't realise you could put 2 centres in the same team.
Yeah. Three outside, 2 inside. That's how it works in the NBL. Sean Long's 5th in scoring, 2nd in rebounding, 2nd in blocks, shoots 40% from the 3-point line.
He does.
In 2019, since the new year, he's averaged 27 and 11.
Dude.
Across 11 games.
That's kind of like when I started my rant for him.
You're claiming this as well?
They are monstrous numbers.
They are. He's had
since he was in the duds.
Yeah.
Since he was in it, shout out to giving him the duds.
Hey, before we go any further, can we just cut the cameras and you two work out who actually motivated Sean Long to go to this next level? You can't both take credit for it.
Listen, they watch us, man.
Well, 27
and 11. That's definitely a start.
Okay. Hey, Scott Fisher and Andrew Gaze in 1992 also joined MVPs. All right, there you go. Hey, what have we missed this week? All-NBL team, who do you think's going to make it, actually? Kay or Long? Let us know. Hashtag NBL Overtime. But I think that as great as the year has been and how competitive it has been, we've essentially got the same 10 players up on the board when it's all said.
I know, it's good. Let's have a look what happened this week. Let's start in Sydney, where Craig Moller hit Dave Barlow right on the numbers. They were just on the wrong side of his shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Barlow, crucial time in the game. Someone opened a door right at the wrong time for Barlow. Look at the time. They had just gone to the small ball lineup. That was the shot they wanted because Barlow couldn't get to it. And
what happens for the next 2.5 minutes?
Yeah, well,
Adelaide
went on a 9-2 run. WTF? With Hodgson. We all saw what Daniel Kiggett did. I think he thought Chris Golding might have
flopped.
I like Pinot. He's got a little encouragement there for Drew. This sign was a bit harsh, don't you think?
Spot the difference. Saying he's garbage.
That is harsh.
That snake has been really good every game.
He's been so harsh. Look at the bloke right there behind Alex Loughton. Shout out Nick Tan on this one. Look at him. He's got 2 hats. You can never have enough hats in sunny far north Queensland. Oh, man. Shout out to Alex Loughton, obviously a tremendous career. His last couple of games this week and hell of a mic drop.
Jersey retired?
Yes.
Yep. Cool. Free agency, this is what happens this time of year. Of course, we lead into the last weekend. 8 teams become 4, and those 4 teams get a slight little advantage, although not officially, maybe unofficially, although tampering's dominating the NBA, so I don't want to slip it into the NBL here. But as we talk, we'll see a lot of free agency, a lot of talk, a lot of player movement, in particular with South East Melbourne and Phoenix coming in over the next couple of months as they get ready to play in 2019-20. What do you think? Anyone out there right now that you think might be on the move, or...?
Here are my top 5 hottest free agents.
Ooh.
Don't look at my sheet.
Okay, you got it.
Hit it.
Barlow at number 5. Newley at 4.
Brad Newley.
Matt Hodgson at 3.
So he just on a 1-year deal. He backed himself in for 1 year at
Matt
Brisbane.
Hodgson, yes.
Yep, okay.
Which was super smart. Asked out of his contract. Change of scenery. There are always change of guys who, change of scenery guys. Todd Blanchfield was one. Kyle Adnam was one. Those guys have all played really well.
Yep.
My top 2, number 2, Kevin Lish, coming off contract.
Now, there's a fair bit of conjecture around his... So he's definitely out of contract.
I checked it today. I understand he's coming out of contract. So Kevin Lish is a free agent. And number 1, obviously, a guy we've spoken about a lot, Nathan Sobey. The bidding war will begin with Adelaide trying to re-sign him and teams, you would imagine, Southeast... Melbourne Phoenix would be getting involved, trying to get amongst it.
Well, on Instagram, at Fresh Prince of Lincoln asks, what happens if the 36ers can't re-sign Sobey? Like, how important is it that they hold on to him?
They have to.
Yeah, there's no ifs, buts, or maybes, is there?
Sobey. You have to throw everything at that guy because after what happened last off-season, the potential he's shown to, he could be anything in this league. You have to re-sign him.
He's out of there.
He's out of there?
He's out of there. If the agent's smart, which I know the agent is super smart, all I'm going to do is use the other team as leverage because there's no way.
Yeah, but use them as leverage to re-sign us for
more money.
Payday.
I'm sure. Where's he from? Right up the road.
It's not that close, but I see your point.
After a while, you might need a fresh start.
Warrnambool is not all that far from Adelaide.
No, it's.
Oh.
It's in Victoria.
It might be like 300. Have you ever been to Warrnambool?
No.
Have you ever been to Warrnambool?
No, but I know it's like a couple hours away.
About 300 k's from Melbourne, 500 from Adelaide. So I'm guessing here, but it is on the way.
They have.
How long he's been there? 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Time for a fresh start.
Well, let's talk about fresh start.
Is it time for a fresh start? He's had a great year. We've both got him in an All-NBL second team. Like, a fresh start suggests that he's gone stale when he's probably had his best NBL year.
Strike while the iron's hot.
So where's he going to play then?
I'm sure Phoenix.
Phoenix? Can they fit him?
Yo, look, Creek is gone.
Yeah, but
Creek is in the league.
But if Adelaide outbid everyone, he just resigns.
Yeah.
There's no, from
Adelaide
his
ain't gonna
perspective.
outbid.
And don't be so certain about Craig being in the league.
Creek is going to be in the league. Oh, he's gone.
That's harsh.
Cricket's in the NBA.
Really?
Right.
That's what I mean. The NBA is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that league, the NBA.
Yeah,
he's gone. He's not going to be in the NBL.
Great shot.
So they got to go grab somebody else.
Ben Magin?
Phoenix.
Team marquee player?
Who's better?
No, he's not a marquee
Sobey
player.
or Magin? Magden.
I'd take Sobey.
I'd take Toby as well, because I think he's not a point guard, and I think he's played it really, really well this year, considering it's
What's
his first time
Magden?
running a team.
Magden.
Where is he?
No, position.
Shooting guard.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a
Former
two.
All-NBL first team.
I remember him. He was Rookie of the Year my last season. But
He threw a chair on the court once.
yeah, imagine he's
He's ultra competitive.
He's an MC, which in the Aussie terms, the MC. But yeah, he's off the hook. But could they play together in the backcourt?
Nah.
No, because they both like
I tell you
You
what.
wouldn't want to play them together because you don't think Sobey should be playing the one.
But they could share the
I'll tell you what,
responsibility.
it'd be fun to watch.
It would be.
It would be really fun
Those
to
are
watch.
two feisty Aussie guards defensively.
You know what else
they'd
would be
a
fun to
problem.
watch? Training.
Yeah, for real.
Magden,
There you go.
Let's
I remember him his rookie season, man. He's tough.
He can
Magden.
Imagine. You can't remember him too well. You don't remember his name.
Nah, he was tough. He got rookie of the year. He's a good player.
No arguments there.
Yeah.
Change of scenery, guys, though, right? We spoke about Blanchfield. Who else? Matt Hodgson, Kyle Adnam. There's always guys each year that could do with a change of scenery and could blossom, and you could get them at a great price, like Illawarra got Blanchfield for 3 years.
How about Jesse Wagstaff?
Can't see.
Nah. It's
What
over.
about these guys? Majuk?
Yeah, well,
Majuk Deng?
Majuk Deng, yes. Majuk.
AJ Ogilvy?
Keep going.
That's all I got.
Majuk Deng, yes. AJ Ogilvy, yes. I think Majuk.
Majuk needs a change of scenery. He needs to get back on the
needs
court.
He didn't even. Who's going to play him? He went to a team that essentially they're crying out for a backup big, and he still can't get
You think
minutes.
the Taipans wouldn't have played him as their backup big?
But at
I don't
that
know. We
point-
would have. You know what? We would have said the exact same thing about New Zealand if he wasn't at New Zealand. If he had stayed at Melbourne, we'd be saying, "Oh, New Zealand," we'd be crying out for Majuk.
Dan Trist.
Dan Trist, another guy who obviously,
scenery.
now that Jake, with Vinky Joyce here, is obviously going to find it hard if that's the way they go next year. All right, where are we? Here we go. Jessica Sandow is saying it would be fitting if there's a draw for the MVP, but if you're going to ask that question, who's it between? Give me two. If it's a joint MVP, who misses out?
Oh. Go to him first.
Who misses out?
Probably Bogut, because maybe you could play Cotton and wear one-on-one.
I don't know.
Should they play one-on-one
really-
in their tuxedos to actually win the award by themselves?
Speaking of tuxedos, what are we doing? Let's talk about
Hang on.
sorting us out?
Before you get further, a couple of questions. At bball_blokes on Twitter says, if the Sydney Kings are locked into third by the time they play, of course, if both Melbourne and Perth win, Sydney will finish third regardless of the result against Cairns. Should they rest or restrict minutes on some of their key guys on Saturday
Rest
night?
them. You can't afford for anybody to get injured in a game that means nothing to you.
Geez, winning form is good form.
It is.
And we've seen resting ahead of the finals has been problematic. We saw Melbourne do it a few years ago when they finished on top. Didn't send a few guys to New Zealand and got swept out of the playoffs. We've also seen it work the other way. When Jawai was in Perth, they didn't send him on the road in the last round of the season. They went on to win the title. I think you could probably rest Bogey, man.
At are you calling him Bogey Man or Bogey Man? Just so I don't know. At JB Crook on Instagram. Do you know a JB Crook on Instagram?
No.
Okay, cool. This might make any sense then. Why did Homicide yell at me at halftime in Perth?
Come on, man.
What, are you abusing the fans? Or you stand behind your 6 security guards and feel you can just abuse the Red Army?
It gets real up there, but I don't know him.
Nah.
Those are lies.
Cool. Harry Froley's got involved on Instagram.
Oh.
Ask Corey if he thinks anyone in the NBL can beat him in one-on-one. That's from the rookie of the, or the soon-to-be rookie of the year.
Current right now, a lot of them could be, everybody could beat me one-on-one.
Everyone?
Let me ask,
Right now.
Let me
Right
turn
now.
that question
Yeah,
around. Let me turn that question around. It's a good question, Harry, but let's workshop it. Is there anyone in the NBL you could beat one-on-one?
Right now, nobody.
No one?
Nobody. I haven't touched the ball.
Why haven't you touched the ball?
Just chilling, man. I'm not here to hoop. I'm here to do what I'm doing here with you guys. If I start hooping, I'm going to take away from giving my love to everybody here.
All right. Got the blinkers on.
Focus.
I'm not asking you to hoop 6:30 on a Tuesday night, mate.
I mean,
you could have a shot
in
the morning. All right.
He said a shot in the morning.
Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved. NBL Gala Awards night on Sunday night. We are going to be there as well. So the entire night is going to be live streamed. If you can't get there, if you're sitting at home, wherever you might be, obviously it's in Melbourne. If you're not there, you can watch it through NBL TV, Facebook and Twitter as well at NBL to make sure you get involved and watch what's going to be a wonderful, intriguing, drama-filled night. We'll be there with a couple of things over the course of the night. But you did bring it up.
What are you wearing?
I'm waiting for someone to slide in my DMs and say, hey, I'll dress you.
And stay in there.
Men's Club, I think you need to come to the table. You've been sensational for us. And we appreciate you, but some of us need some apparel, a suit to wear. So I hope you can hook up my two guys right here.
You know what I like about this? He's obviously already hooked up.
Yeah, he's well and truly hooked up.
I tell you this.
Oh, here we go.
I will be the best dressed man at that award show.
You know what?
100%. I guarantee you. We can bet on that.
Do you remember last year when Coolio outdressed you?
Get out of here, man.
Anyway, yeah, Men's Club. That's a good idea. Anyway, we'll be watching. What a wonderful weekend it's going to be. And this is going to be something this weekend that I think when it comes to the NBL might be the most exciting round in regular season history. Who finishes on top?
Melbourne United.
Who finishes fourth?
Adelaide.
Same?
Melbourne and Brisbane.
Yeah, I think Melbourne and Brisbane as well. Until the awards night, this has been NBL Overtime. Big shout out to Men's Club and basketball jerseys.
We're coming to see you.
Men's Club, basketball jerseys will plug us, man. We need my guys looking.